All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. And welcome back, guys. Good evening once again. Welcome back. And we are here again tonight for another AMA with YGG and, of course, our very special guest with a return AMA, the one and only Krystal Yang from Ignite Tournaments. Good evening. Good evening from my part of the world and the GM for you guys over there. How are you doing, Krystal?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me back. Really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Of course, of course. I mean, yeah, from our last AMA, the community was very excited, about the Ignite Tournaments project. Not only because YGG is invested in the project, but also, Gabby himself is an advisor. And I mean, it's the first time, that we've heard of, a platform where we can actually experience and bridge traditional gaming with NFTs and also play to earn and blockchain. But for everyone else, for those who have heard and who have just dropped in, and it's the first time that you guys are finding out about Ignite tournaments, Krystal, why don't you go ahead and give us the quick overview of the whole project?
Yeah, of course. So let me go ahead and actually share my screen because it's probably a little bit easier for
Awesome.
me to just kind of blast through this real quick. Ignite Tournaments is a play-to-earn infrastructure provider. So what we do is we provide tournament functionality to any pre-existing game that doesn't have like the ability to create tournaments. So the very first product we're building is the world's first play-to-earn esports
Mhm.
tournament
Yep.
organization and streaming app for mobile games with payouts in crypto and NFTs. So basically, we can
Yeah.
turn any pre-existing mobile game into a play-to-earn game. So like imagine
Uh-huh.
being able to play-to-earn in like Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG Mobile, like these type of
Wow.
games.
Okay.
Yeah, and then with existing play-to-earn games such as like Metagods or Battle Saga, we just add this like additional play-to-earn
Okay.
tournament layer above the original game, and then you can
Uh-huh.
just play-to-earn in two ecosystems at the same time.
Gotcha.
So like I'm just going to do a really quick like overview of the app. Some of you guys may have seen this already, but for those of you who are seeing this for the first time, basically you download the application onto your phone. We're compatible with both Android and iPhone. And then once you go through registration, you can see all of the tournaments. And then you can, join a tournament once you find one that you actually want to participate in, and go through the details. And then you can pretty much pay for your entry fee in Tenka, which is our platform's native token. It's both a utility and governance token, so it's how all of the transactions on our platform are paid for, and it's what we use to govern the DAO.
Okay.
And so basically, the way that our the way that our play to earn model works is that it's actually yield farming. So you're creating a yield farming tournament. And the way that works is that, you're participating in one. The way it works is that when you pay for your entry fee, in Tenka, it's staked on chain in a yield farming tournament that is generated specifically for that tournament. And so for the entire lockup period, which can be as long as like 30 days, because a tournament organizer can create a tournament that's like 30 days out, you're essentially yield farming for more Tenka. And you're also competing for a unique NFT, which Ignite generates on chain for every single tournament, as well as any like sponsored NFTs, which are like pretty much any EVM compatible NFT, which is basically 90% of the world's NFTs, as well as sponsored tokens, which in the future will include our partner tokens. This is something I did not mention in the last time I was here, but basically we now will be supporting partner tokens, so you will be able to compete for YGG tokens in the future. So basically, once you purchase the token, if you're able to then get started. Some of our other features include streaming functionality. So every single competitor on our platform is also a mobile streamer. And we also have like built-in chat functionality. And in terms of the games that we support, as long as it is a skill-based, mobile-compatible, non-pornographic game, we will whitelist it. And it's basically we support all games as long as it meets those three criteria. and that includes any pre-existing game today that's out there. And we do not require direct integration to work because the games are actually running natively on the game itself and not on Ignite, since we just provide the tools, tournament functionality to you,
Yeah.
the end user. We have like a ton of features. You can create either like a free ad-supported tournament or like a yield farming tournament by charging an entry fee. And some of our other features include like being able to skin the tournament however you want. We support every single type of tournament format, so 1 versus 1 PvP, team versus team, and also guild versus guild, which is actually the most exciting feature we have. You can create invite only and unlisted tournaments. We have every single type of bracketing if you want to create really complex tournaments. You can add additional hosts, you can add sponsors. This is exactly where in the future you'll be able to add a YGG sponsorship. And we have geo restrictions. We have like performance-based tier restrictions that allows for more fair like level match, I suppose you could say, for tournament organizers. We have for like determining match results. For games that are not integrated with us, we use on-chain consensus voting. So, essentially, the community participates in an act of governance to validate the winner for every match. So basically, it's just all the staked participants of that tournament. So, tournament organizer picks the actual, winner, and then you just conform or disagree as to whether or not this really is the winner. And then for games that are integrated with us, we actually just do automated match adjudication because we're getting the results directly from that game. All of your winnings go directly into this non-custodial EVM compatible wallet, which is built directly into Ignite. This is also where your NFTs will go. We will in the future have actual swaps directly on the platform, the ability to on-ramp fiat, and also, you can export your private keys since we have no control over any of this due to the fact that it is non-custodial. Additional features that we will have in the future include NFT marketplace. But what's probably the most exciting thing about Ignite isn't the fact that we actually make it possible for you to be able to compete with like all your your friends in like PvP tournaments and also create tournaments. It's actually the fact that guilds can compete directly against guilds in guild versus guild tournaments. So essentially YGG can compete against all the other guilds in the world in large scale guild versus guild global tournaments. And this is actually tracked based on actual win-loss ratios. As you see here, this specific guild management system was actually created with quite a bit of feedback from, Gabby and other members of YGG. Basically, you can track all of the scholars' performance on our platform using this with internal guild rankings based on your actual skill. So this is actually an aggregate of all of your win-loss ratios across all of the games that you're competing in on Ignite. But we also can do it on a game-by-game basis. So, basically that's the app. That's what we're building right now, and it's pretty exciting for us to be able to soon share this with the world.
Amazing stuff. This is what I've always been telling everyone. Now we have an excuse to play non-blockchain games inside YGG, and this is what we've been waiting for. Because, to be honest, we do have a lot of gamers, and all of these guys are traditional gamers. Who came from, as you said, Mobile Legends and Call of Duty Mobile, and even the up and coming ones, even Pokemon Unite, and technically this is our way of being able to bridge these games that we really love, and YGG and the community, and also still be participating in the blockchain space. So really cool stuff that's happening here. And yeah, for everyone who's just hopped in or who is hearing of Ignite tournaments for the first time, you definitely should check them out. It's ignitetournaments.com, and yeah, we will be dropping the links for everyone else too. If you haven't joined their Discord yet, definitely make sure that you guys are in there, because as you've seen, the platform is fully built out and we are good to go, which brings us to the reason why we are having our AMA tonight. It is the alpha of Ignite tournament. So first of all, Krystal, a big congratulations to you and the team who's been tirelessly working day in and day out to make sure that we have a platform like this for the whole community. But yeah, go ahead. Why don't you talk about our upcoming alpha? And I think this is what everyone has been actually waiting for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we are very excited to, present our alpha to the world. So basically, to kind of explain a few things, just to make a quick point, the platform is not 100% fully built out. It's actually more like the end-to-end tournament functionality is, because it is the alpha. So there is like a significant amount of testing that needs to be done and a lot more building that needs to be done as well, before we can say it's like fully built, right? And we were really thinking about how we wanted to actually build this application. And what we realized was, because of the fact that our token Tenka is governed by a DAO, it made a lot of sense to us that, if we're going to be building this platform for gamers, for our DAO, then we want our DAO and our community to actually be part of the building process. So to that end, we actually have this alpha test coming up, which is actually actually a very long test. It's 3 to 4 months testing period. And the reason why it's so long is because we're going to be introducing features one by one and then getting community feedback. And then when we get that feedback, we're then going to iterate upon the feedback and refine the product and make it better based on what the community really wants. Because it makes no sense, for us to just build this platform and throw it at the community and hope that this is what the community wants, when instead the community can tell us what it is that the community wants, and then we just build it for them, or we make it better for them in a way that makes sense for the community, as opposed to what we think is the right thing for our community, right? I think that we should not dictate what it is that our users are going to actually truly want out of our platform. And so to that end, what we're actually doing is a little bit crazy. So we are generating, this alpha test is going to have 1,000 early community members, which include a lot of our guild partners, such as YGG. We're generating 1,000 wallets, and we're filling it with 1,000 test Tenka. So that's 1,000 tokens of test Tenka, which is going to be on the test net for Moonbeam Moon River, which is where we're building, called Moonbase Alpha. And basically, users are going to be, you guys are going to be able to compete in 6 different games during this alpha. And so those games are PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, Garena Free Fire, League of Legends Wild Rift, Hearthstone, and Arena of Valor. So these are massive AAA titles, some of which are the biggest in the world. Many of which I'm sure many of you guys already play. I myself, I play Call of Duty Mobile. So basically, the idea is that, let's say you're really good at any one of these games. And during the course of, actually, John, Sedano, let me ask, what's of these 6 games, which one would you want to play?
For sure, it's gonna be COD Mobile. Well, I'm also a big fan of MOBA. So just to spice things up, I'll actually look into playing both. Maybe even join in on some community tournaments and maybe host some for the whole community in the in the span of the 4 months. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, so, okay, if it's Call of Duty Mobile, then let's say you're really good at it and you somehow earn 10,000 Tenka. You accumulate 10,000 test Tenka during the course of this 3 to 4 month alpha. Every time we come out with a feature, you make sure that you give us your actual, true, honest opinion on it, even if it's telling us that it absolutely sucks and we need to remake it. We will take that into consideration as we are building this platform for you. So let's say you accumulate this 10,000 Tenka. By the end of alpha, assuming that our token is live, which is going to depend on market conditions, because we have no intention of launching a token in a weak market. So let's say, assuming that the token is live, at that point, what will happen is we're going to make a swap between mainnet tokens, which are live tokens, and that 10,000 Tenka you accumulated. Now, if our price of our token is like $1 at that time, how much? Just do the math. I'm not saying it will be exactly that, but I'm just saying that this is the sort of potential benefit of in terms of being able to get potential access to pre-launch tokens, just for participating in a test, competing in some of your favorite games that already exist, and making friends with other people.
Great. I have a really quick question though. So, let's
Mhm.
say, okay, I've decided, I'm gonna be participating, in the alpha. I joined, whatever, whatever mechanics like we have to, that we're gonna be announcing later to get on the whitelist. Yeah. So if I hop in the game, do I have to host my own tournament to start, being able to earn the test tanka, or is it, even as a player, like, if it's my friend who hosted the tournament, like, if I just join, how does it work? How do I earn the tanka? Do I win it? Do I earn it by winning, or does the organizer also earn tanka by organizing the tournaments? How does it work?
Yeah, so there's a few ways to do this. So the organizer can actually earn a tournament organization fee. Now, in alpha, we're playing around with seeing how we will be able to do this. Initially, we might not have that feature like immediately ready to go. In fact, like the way that alpha is going to go, like the very first week in terms of registration, like our actual alpha registration begins this upcoming Monday on the 28th. And so because we have to onboard 1,000 users, collect their data, have to like essentially whitelist each of their individual email addresses to make sure
Yeah.
that they can either download like the Android application or the iPhone application and then go through like orientation. And then like it's probably going to take like a whole week of onboarding. And
Yeah.
then like the week off after, so like essentially the second week of March, is when everybody will make sure everybody has already downloaded the application, and then that's when the testing will begin. And then from there, it's like, okay, what you would want to do, one of the reasons why we're doing this like orientation period is so like if you don't have other friends, you don't know anybody yet, you can go and you make new friends. You can, essentially find out, more about other gamers participating in it and create teams as well for different games. Like some games actually really require you
Yeah.
to need to have teams, like Call of Duty Mobile, for example. So basically, the way it works is that somebody, it doesn't matter who, whether it's you or friends, but like in your case, like if you are the tournament organizer, you won't be able to actually compete. You can only organize the tournament. But you can, in the future, we will allow for you to be able to essentially charge a tournament organization fee for organizing that tournament, right? And so that can be a small percentage of the entire price pool, such as like 0.5% or
Mhm.
something along those lines, right? And so that's
Gotcha.
that's your incentive as the organizer for being the one in charge of the tournaments, right? So let's say it's like you and like 5 friends. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna be organizer, and then you four compete. So then the four other members will essentially go on and register for the actual tournament itself, and then begin competing. Now, let's say you want to participate in a tournament and your friend is the tournament organizer. So you find the tournament, the Call of Duty tournament that your friends, we'll just say it's Gabby. So Gabby's organizing. So,
Okay.
you're like, okay, cool. Gabby's organizing this tournament. So, you go and you join the tournament. Gabby says, like, sets the tournament entry fee, because it's up to the tournament organizer what the entry fee is, for 5 tenka. So you pay your 5 tenka. And then like, three other YGG members join this tournament. And so now the entire prize pool, is actually 20 tenka.
Okay.
Now, during the course of the tournament, there's going to be a specific amount of yield that can be farmed for every single tournament, right? And so basically, everybody is earning yield as yield reward on top of, competing for whatever is in that pool. So let's say you win the tournament. So if you win the tournament, you will actually win that 20 tenka plus whatever yield it is that you farmed. So we'll just say maybe you farmed 2 tenka. So in total, you will have 20 tenka in the price pool, and then
Yeah.
2 tenka in yield. So that's 22 tenka. Your friends, if they lost, they lose their entry fee, but because of the fact that they yield farmed 2 tenka each, they get back the 2 tenka. So the reality is, while it's not like you don't lose anything, it's not like you're losing everything, because we're still rewarding you with yield.
Yeah.
And that's for the yield farming tournaments. Now, for free tournaments, which actually is the first feature that will come out during the course of alpha, basically the free tournament is just like a way for you to like practice, and it's just a fun way to create the tournament for free and just like organize it and participate in competition with your friends. There's literally zero stakes, because there's no like tenka that is up for grabs. It's literally just like a fully free tournament that you can do whatever you want with. So yeah, that's how it works.
Awesome. So yeah, for everyone at home, you know how it goes. So do expect us here in our in the YGG Discord, that we will be having, we will be actually having our own official tournaments using their platform. And yeah, of course, I mean, at this point, since we are in alpha and we are testing it out, YGG definitely, would be shaking things up, and maybe have our even our own YGG prize pool in there for every tournament that we have. So I just want to touch on the specifics of, let's say, COD Mobile, very briefly.
Mhm.
How do we get the winners? I mean, in COD Mobile, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone at home. There is no tournament mode where players can organize their own, I don't know, like skirmish. How does it work? Like, how do we find who the winner is in these tournaments that we organize on Ignite?
I believe, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you can actually form like a private custom lobby for COD
Okay.
Mobile, right? So like if
Oh,
that's the
okay.
case,
There. Yeah. There you go.
you can then
Yeah.
just
Exactly.
invite your friends into there, and then from there you're actually
That's
going to get
perfect.
the ranking. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
So
Perfect.
for initially in alpha, so basically the way that our tournament match results work for the long run is that we're going to actually be doing everything on chain, and it's going to be like a whole voting process. But initially in alpha, it's actually going to just be we're going to start off with just the tournament organizer pretty much selecting the winner and then confirming the result. Just like, again, this is a 3 to 4 month period, so the idea is that later on, I would say like maybe a month from now, that's when we're going to introduce our on-chain voting mechanism. It's just that we need to be able to test just the very basic features, like to
Yeah.
make sure, like, okay, are
Gotcha.
you guys okay with are you comfortable with the way, like, even just the normal end-to-end tournament process works right now? Because like if people want us to work on that, we need to fix that first before we can even introduce
Gotcha.
match adjudication, right? So that's sort of that's the idea. So initially it's literally just going to be like tournament organizer is going to just post the results. Users will have to do a little bit of self-reporting where, like, especially in games where there is no like leaderboard, where you just
Yeah.
capture like a screenshot at the very end, which is like, so everyone knows how to take a screenshot. And if you don't know how to take a screenshot during orientation, we will teach you how to take a screenshot to ensure that there's some sort of proof. That
Yeah.
we're not just like having one person decide like everything. We're actually going to have like verification.
Yeah, I mean that works pretty well, especially for guilds, because in this case we can expect to us have our own quote unquote game masters. Like, the tournament organizers will be from the core team, or yeah, from our moderators or our lead moderators, to make sure that we get to award, or we get to get the real winners. I do understand, that there is definitely a need for for on-chain vetting for the winners, like later on, when when the game expands and more people are playing, for transparency, of course. But then, I
Mhm.
mean, for the alpha, that's all we need. You mentioned, like, I myself consider, with what you guys have, like, compared to a lot of projects, with all with the amount of expectations from the community that they have, with a product that hasn't even been tested by anyone. Ignite tournaments is pretty good to go, in my opinion. But yeah, so speaking of the alpha, so everyone at home, this is how it's gonna work. So we are gonna be opening up 100 slots, though. In the next 3 days, for everyone listening right now, as usual, as you may know, we will be giving priority to our founders coin holders, and after that, we are going to be giving priority to our guild badge holders. And then that's the time we will be opening the doors to everyone else via a Gleam campaign. So if you guys haven't joined the Ignite Tournaments Discord, make sure that you guys are in there, because once you get whitelisted, this is where all the action is going to be happening. Of course, later on we will be opening up our own Ignite tournaments voice and text channels, especially when we have our own tournaments going on. But yeah, everyone at home, our founders coin holders, our guild badge holders, please do stay on standby. We will be posting those Google forms that you can fill out, and of course it will be on a first come first serve basis, and as well, if you guys meet the requirements for the specs of the app. But yeah, so Crystal, Really glad to have you here. I'm really excited. This is not, this is not only a really interesting project that will engage guilds and communities in general, but while we're waiting for all the other blockchain and P2E games, this is definitely gonna create a lot of fun, and just it's gonna be a great time with the community, with Ignite as well. So yeah, everyone at home, please do take the opportunity to ask your questions right now while we have Krystal, the CEO of Ignite Tournaments, here with us tonight. Yeah, shoot your questions right now, and we will be opening the floor to the community. So let's do that. So Krystal,
Awesome.
on a side note, so yeah, how long has the project been ongoing, and when did you guys start? And you mentioned the alpha is going to be in 4 months, right? So
No,
what
no,
can we?
no.
I mean, sorry,
The
the
alpha
launch.
starts.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
the alpha is gonna end after 4 months, and yeah, what can we expect? What can you expect from once the app goes fully live?
Yeah, so basically our roadmap is like this. So, on Monday, next Monday, the 28th, registration begins. And then from there, it's a 3 to 4 month test period for alpha. And then after that, somewhere in the middle of that, hopefully the markets recover and then we launch our token. And then from there, we will then have a beta test. Now, this beta test is going to support a lot more users, not just 1,000, like we're talking like tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of users. And this will be a public beta, which, right now we're actually looking to have it be more, geo-restricted to Southeast Asia, just to start out. And then eventually, as we're scaling, we're going to begin rolling out to other regions as well. And then from there, that test is going to be like another potentially like 3 month period, because at that point, we're going to be introducing very advanced features like, our streaming functionality is extremely advanced. That's when, we're going to probably be introducing
Yeah,
that. We'll be introducing some, other, like, for example, the guild management system may actually be introduced during that period of time. And that's when we're actually going to begin onboarding, like officially onboarding, all of YGG scholars, for example, like all 10,000 and change. Not sure how many scholars you have now. You have a better idea, onto the
we're gonna make an
platform. And
announcement
so,
pretty soon. A
oh,
huge announcement
exciting.
pretty soon.
Very exciting. And so, we'll be onboarding all the guilds, and that will take time. And, also like our full NFT functionality, if we're not able to get it out by the end of alpha, absolutely that's when, it will happen in beta. Partner token staking and essentially support is also that's when we'll be rolling that out in beta as well. So there's a lot of like very advanced features that would be in our roadmap that have to be tested. And so after that period, so now we're like, what we'll just say, if it's like a long run, okay, 8 months away from now, assuming that everything goes really well and there aren't major issues that require us to like completely rebuild certain aspects of our platform, which may happen. I mean, it's tech, right? So, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. So we're prepared for that. So anywhere between 8 months to, we'll just say 1 year to be realistic, taking into account potential development delays due to said issues I just mentioned. Then at that point, we will have Ignite Tournaments 1.0 roll out, and it will be a worldwide release to any countries that essentially where there aren't like any sort of regulatory issues. So for example, right now, the United States, it's a very big question mark, mostly because we don't know, like what the SEC is trying to, how the SEC will define like altcoins, like either as securities or not. So, that will really determine like where we can go in the world. But, most of the world, I think, is, we'll be able to roll out without any issues.
Awesome. So yeah, just before we move forward, I just want to make a really quick clarification. So the people that will be earning our test Danka by participating in the alpha, um, how does it? I mean, who qualifies to carry over their test Danka into mainnet basically?
So basically, you actually have to constantly give us feedback. So anytime
Okay.
we release a new feature, we expect that there will be a feedback form, which is kind of like it's almost like a Q&A sort of thing with like a little
Yeah.
form that you can just give us like your honest opinion even if it's a brutal opinion, like, this sucks, guys, what did you guys do? Like, you need to rework this completely and make it better for me. Like, even if it's that, we would want to know that, right? Because we need to know everybody's honest opinion so that we can build it better for you. And then, like, so essentially you need to make it through to the very end of alpha and give us feedback. Now the question is, like, okay, well, what if I lose all of my tenka? Well, if you lose all of your tenka, but you're still able to, like, give us feedback, we will reward you with some amount of tenka, mainnet tokens. It just won't be like a massive amount, right? It might just be like 100 or something like that. But if you actually participate and you accumulate tenka during the course of the actual alpha test and you constantly give us feedback, we will, do the swap at the very end. Now, if you come onto our alpha and then you participate in one tournament, and then because you lost, you decide you don't want to do this anymore, you're not going to get anything from us, because like, we expect that in order to be rewarded with that much tenka, when our price could be anywhere, at that point, even very high, it needs to be somebody who was fully committed.
Awesome. Yeah. So, for everyone at home, you guys heard it first from Krystal herself. So, yeah, I totally get it. I understand why this is the process. But it just makes sense. I mean, those who actually will be contributing to the economy, to the ecosystem of Ignite tournaments, those are going to be the guys who will get a carryover their test tanka. I mean, if you are a regular player, if you are interested, and I mean, you actually are going to be using the platform, so why not go for it? It just makes sense that, I mean, it is you are playing and earning, and you're not waiting for an unreleased blockchain game. You're actually playing the games that you usually play with your friends on a regular basis. So shout out to we have Dan Dizon on our chat. Yeah, he's actually the cousin of Gabby. So yeah, I mean, this guy is, yeah, he's a really good community builder outside from games that are actually running right now. So one example is Amir 4, where there is a huge community, which, it's not a partnered game with YGG. Technically, like, this platform Ignite tournaments will be giving opportunities for community leaders like Dan, that actually will be able to now integrate, the games that they like, the communities that love them, and they love to be able to, just even play and earn. So it just totally makes sense. We everyone at home, we are on the verge of something really huge here. So make sure to, if you don't have, your guild badges yet, make sure to mint them, so that, you could actually qualify and get in, quote unquote, the whitelisting that's going to be going on in the next few days. So the dates that we are going to be watching out for is going to be sorry, is it the 28th?
Yeah, the 28th is when registration begins. So that's that would be
There you
the
go.
hard deadline. Yeah.
There you guys go. So yeah, right after our AMA. So everyone, shoot your questions right after the AMA. We will be posting the forms in our founders coin and our guild badge holders exclusive text channels here on Discord. And for everyone else, as I mentioned earlier, do watch out for the Gleam campaign that we will be opening to everyone else later on. So yeah, Crystal, do you have any last words for the community before we go? It's, as always, it's been a pleasure to have you guest, and the community is a really, really huge fan of Ignite tournaments. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think there is like a couple of questions in, I see here on your Discord. So I think maybe I might as well hit those up.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, for sure.
So Max Fortis asks, will we include casual gamers in the future? PT might be attractive to casual gamers. I mean, in terms of like casual gaming, I mean, generally speaking, I would say Ignite tournaments is honestly more for mid-core, hardcore games. But for casual games, it may also work out if everybody is willing to play at like a rather leisurely sort of pace. So I don't see like why not, like why we can't include casual gamers, on our platform. So yeah, I think that would be fine. And I think I saw another question. Dennis asked, how would tournament organizers, how does the tournament organizer earn? So, basically when you create the tournament as the tournament organizer, you can technically set like a tournament organization fee for organizing that tournament, such as 0.5% of the entire prize pool. And so that's basically how the tournament organizer would be able to earn. So yeah, I mean, those are the only two questions I saw. I'm actually surprised there aren't more. Usually
No, I
there's
mean,
like like a million.
Yeah. No, I think is these guys have actually already been been waiting for the alpha. Like they've been waiting on the news, and I mean they totally understand like what you guys are going for here, and it's I think we are in the right time. This is the perfect timing, to get everyone on board. Not only to create more events, but also community interaction with Ignite and also within the YGG community. I mean, I'm definitely I mean, maybe, Krista, would it be possible for the Ignite team to hop on a YGG tournament for COD Mobile?
That may be possible. I'm not 100% sure if everybody plays COD, so I'd have to find out who well, actually, it might just be fun anyway. We can just get slaughtered by everybody. That would be great.
Yeah, no, I
I'm sure
mean,
that, yeah.
we could have the the team Krystal and also the team Sedana going on on a mini tournament within both our Discord. That would be pretty fun. Yeah, for everyone at home, you guys heard it first. As we mentioned, the date that you guys are going to be watching out for is the 28th. Oh, we have Gabster right here. So wait, so Gabster is actually one of the lead. Oh no, he is the lead of NFT Pinas, which is one of the up and coming and the biggest NFT communities in the Philippines. So shout out to Gabs right there. So yeah, so Gabs is asking, so are there any plans to eventually be available for PC games?
Yes. So we are a mobile first platform, and we will always be a mobile first platform because there's a lot more mobile gamers in the world than there are PC gamers. So, like, an interesting statistic that a lot of people don't know is there's actually 3 billion gamers in the world, but 2.9 billion of them are actually mobile gamers. So, yeah, a lot more, right? But I mean, that aside, basically, we are building a web application that's in parallel with
Okay,
our mobile app. And the reason why we're building this is because we needed to build like a blockchain explorer. We needed to be able to build our DeFi staking app, which has nothing to do it's like well, it's not that it has nothing to do with it. It's just like it's a separate application
yeah,
from
exactly.
the actual tournament app, right? It's literally just for like liquidity mining, actual DeFi
Hmm.
like staking, all of that.
Yeah,
And
gotcha.
so basically, the application itself is going to be like a completely separate build that's about like a quarter to 2 quarters. We're going to really push for it to just be 1 quarter behind the release of the mobile app. So by the time beta comes
Gotcha.
out is when we would hope to be showing the alpha version of our web app.
Exactly. I mean, that's perfect because, like how I see it is, you get to play PC games, let's say like Valorant or like Apex Legends, and you have your phone that's turned on and it's right beside you with like it's just right there, like right on your face, and you can see the progress of the other teams moving up the leaderboards, and yeah, it's just really convenient. But as you mentioned, you guys are also developing the web app, yeah, which just totally makes sense. But yeah, we're really looking forward to all of those integrations. But yeah, I couldn't be more repetitive with this, but now we have an excuse to play non-blockchain games here in the YGG Discord. I mean, we do play Valorant sometimes, but like as much as possible, like we sometimes we hop onto our own personal Discord. That's where we play. But now it's gonna be a norm. It's gonna be a norm also for the other play to earn communities and guilds to have more of these traditional games like in your face right on Discord. People playing it 24/7 because technically it is play and earn. It is play to earn, and you guys are yield farming at the same time. But yeah, like a really promising like product right here. Yeah, so everyone else, if you guys have any more questions, make sure to shoot them down. We have a couple more minutes that we have with Krystal tonight. No, and no, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, actually, there's something that you guys should definitely be aware is YGG is not the only guild participating in this alpha. So there's actually going to be you guys are
Ooh,
going to be competing against other guilds. This is,
ooh,
I think, the
okay,
first time in
okay.
history in play to earn when it's going to actually be a taste of guild versus guild. So some of the other guilds that are participating, I think like we publicly announced Rainmaker Games is like another one. But besides Rainmaker Games, there's actually quite a handful
Yeah,
who we have not yet announced in terms of other guilds that will be participating.
okay,
So like get ready to compete against some of the biggest guilds in the world.
for sure.
For yeah, so you got there's going to be some real competition now.
we always love a bit of a challenge when it comes to competitive and quote unquote like esports games. YGG. I mean, we've recently been focusing our efforts and expanding our esports department. We do now have a competitive Axie Infinity roster, which has been doing pretty well. But yeah, aside from that, we are already planning for sub-DAO tournaments. So that includes YGG Southeast Asia, that includes
Mhm.
Indie GG, that includes all the GG bays, and all the other upcoming sub-DAOs that YGG is working on. And having a platform like this, just makes sense and just makes life easier. Yeah, so let's just rewind a bit before before we slowly wrap things up. You mentioned that there is actually a process, let's say, for the community to how do you say it, to pitch games that aren't on the platform yet. So how did that work? Like, if I and my friends, we have a tournament that we want to organize and we want to use Ignite, so what is the process to be able to add, let's say, I don't know, for example, let's use Axie Infinity onto the platform?
Yeah, for an if it's so for Axie, a game like Axie, we're going to need direct integration due to the fact that you can't actually select who you're competing against in Axie. It's not like another game where you can just be like, okay, friends, let's just do this like PvP, like one versus one sort of matchup. In Axie, Axie actually selects the competitor, right? So due to that fact, we need like a direct integration with Axie to actually make that work. I can very definitively say that is something we would very much love to explore. I believe an integration with Axie would probably require us to be able to prove that we have a very solid platform and market traction before we would be able to do that, since that does require some level of development work and resources that Axie would also need to be able to put in from their side as well. But for games that don't require direct integration, like any sort of
How about
we'll
say,
just
for
say like your
example, Pokemon Unite? Let's say we want to get Pokemon Unite in there. So how do we go about that?
something like that. Basically, you would literally just go onto our Discord and tag our team and be like, "Hey,
We want
guys,
Pokemon Unite
we
right
want
now.
this game. Please, yeah, please check to see if it meets your criteria." So then,
Awesome.
our team will then go download the game, and then we'll try playing it, and then we'll determine, okay, is this really a skill-based game? Is this a
Yeah.
mobile game? Is this pornographic? I mean, I imagine Pokemon's not, so if it already checks that box. So,
So two
so
out
yeah,
of
as long
three.
as
The Pokemon fans out there, we are on a roll to get Pokemon Unite on the platform. Too
yeah,
bad
as
I'm
long
not
as
wearing my Pokemon T-shirt tonight, but yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
yeah, the big thing is that to kind of explain what a game of skill is versus a game of chance. So skill-based
Yeah.
games are games that require any sort of like it requires like either like tactical knowledge or strategy or like dexterity or just like
Yeah.
really good hand-eye coordination. Like anything that requires any level of skill from the gamer is considered skill-based. A game of
Gotcha.
chance would be like poker, where there's like some sort of mathematical equation that can determine the end result, like
Mhm.
some sort of just random chance-based result.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of games we don't support because they don't qualify as esports. So like
Yeah.
esports is very very specifically like only skill based games. And I know like some poker players are probably competitive poker players are probably like, oh no, it requires a ton of skill, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like while that is the case, because of that element of chance, it doesn't qualify as an esport. So we are an esports platform, and so for now, we're not going to accept anything that has any element of just like pure chance.
Yeah. I mean, talking about sports. What about chess? Chess is really huge on Twitch right now. So is this something that maybe we could see on Ignite?
Yeah, 100%. I don't see why we can't do that. With a chess game, though, it needs to just not be a game where you can't select your opponent. Because
Okay.
like if it's a game that like we can only
Yeah.
whitelist games where it's possible for you to select an opponent. Because if it's like a random opponent, then we need a direct integration with that game. Because there's like no other
Awesome.
way for us to be able to do some sort of like a matchup, right?
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, Max Ford is paying read my mind on it. But yeah, definitely. I mean, we might going on. It might be a stretch here, but how about? I'm just gonna be go shooting my question. So what about Smash Brothers? I mean, it's console. Are there? I mean, we don't have the best console tournament platforms, but isn't this a market or a niche that you guys have already discussed or are looking into?
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Smash. In fact, I'm in the port. We're in Puerto Rico. We're based in Puerto Rico. Like my founder, Tony, and I, and a couple of other team members, and a lot of our advisors, investors are here as well. So we actually host Smash tournaments here in this office. But
Oh,
the
nice.
problem is, yeah, the problem is that there's no way for us to be able to do like streaming or like match
Yeah.
adjudication easily. And so as a result, because we can't really like figure out that result very easily, I don't think at this time we would be able to support console games. Um, I think this is something we could explore in the future. It's just not presently in our roadmap.
Yeah, okay, totally. I totally understand. I mean, at the end of the day, it also depends on, what the tech is focused on. And of course, what also the community sentiments are. But, being, a player in guild, with Axie Infinity, most of our scholars, we're hitting 20K. Or actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're at 20K scholars at this point.
Oh
But,
wow.
most of these
Okay.
guys, yeah, most of these guys are on mobile. Like, I mean, the only concern that I have is, um so let's say for example I have the app open on my phone and I'm also, let's say, playing COD Mobile. What can we expect in terms of processing load and also requirements for the app? Is this something that's going to be friendly across the board, or are we looking at a minimum threshold for uh, mobile phone specs?
I mean, I believe that you're going to need to have some sort of minimum threshold to ensure that the game can run smoothly and that you can also stream at the same time. So, what those tech specs are right now, we don't yet know. This is actually part of us discovering this
Yeah,
is going to
yeah.
be through the testing,
Awesome.
because our
Gotcha.
users are going to tell us, oh, like this isn't working for me because of XYZ reason, and then we'll know, okay, so this isn't working because of this. Now, I mean, we certainly could just go out there and just buy like a ton of old phones, but that seems
Yeah,
to be not as effective as just working with our community to determine
exactly.
what the minimum threshold is. So yeah, that's, I hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah,
um,
perfectly. Yeah. So Gabs again has a question right here. So what systems are we going to be having in place to prevent win trading or match fixings?
in alpha, it's actually, to be quite honest, we're kind of just hoping that people will demonstrate some level of integrity, because it's going to be a little bit difficult initially without our match adjudication feature.
Yeah.
um, because of the fact that like part of the actual non-integrated game match adjudication actually requires our, so what happens is, assuming once we have our streaming functionality and everything else, the idea is that you go through the process of governance, right, for every single match for the actual tournament, and then at the very end, like let's say it's the final match, what happens is that a smart contract is triggered and it's sent to our human compliance team. So we actually have a compliance team. This compliance team will then double check the video streams from the actual like game itself, the actual tournament itself, to make sure that there wasn't like cheating, botting, so on and so forth. Now, in cases of like, where users are like, oh yeah, let's like set up this tournament and then I'm the organizer, so I'm just going to pick this random winner and everybody just votes, but we didn't actually compete. We're going to be able to see that pretty clearly because of the fact that it's clearly on the screen, right? But like
Yeah.
if people want to be way more like tricky about it, I guess, and actually play the tournament, but then just like throw the match, it's going to be harder for us to know that for sure. But I think the same is true for like boxing or like MMA, right? Because like you never really know. Like if people are actually competing and it looks like they're actually competing and then just one person just loses, like there's no way to know if somebody truly was just trying to do something nefarious and competing
Yeah.
without integrity,
Gotcha.
right?
And I mean, yeah, like everyone at home, like, come on, guys, like we're on the alpha. Are you still gonna be gaming the alpha and trying, to to get through? But yeah, I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. But I mean, even at the end of the day, you are gonna be having to be active with, with the alpha test, giving feedback and all of that. And I don't think like you guys would be wasting your time and effort in trying to game the platform and still give your feedback. And everything's gonna be checked. But yeah, it's a really good question from Gabs right there. But I mean, it's quite refreshing to see that now there is actually a platform that is going to be utilizing blockchain technology and and making sure that games and tournaments are played fair. Not only, I mean, adding to the factor that you guys have the human, the human check. So it's not just all tech, like there's also a human side into verifying all these games are done fair. And yeah, I mean, really excited to see. So MMORPG, I'm not quite sure how that applies in tournaments, with Ignite tournaments, but as we mentioned, these are esports and competitive games that are on mobile that we are looking at. But yeah, so I mean, it's really, really, no, it's really, really a great time always having you here, Crystal, and I'm pretty
Thank you.
sure that community can't wait for those links and also our Gleam campaign that we will be launching, in the next couple of days. But yeah, so Crystal, before we go, any last words for the YGG community? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, of course. Just a quick note in regards to MMORPGs. If there is a boss and it's a team-based sort of thing where you have to beat the boss with a team, technically it would work on Ignite because we can do time trials. So it can be a speed
Oh,
run versus the
okay,
boss. Yeah. So let's
okay,
say
there
it's
you have it.
we'll just say it's Genshin Impact, which is like I guess that's technically an MMORPG, right? And
Yeah.
you're trying to beat the child boss, right? And you've got team A and you've got team B, and you got to see who actually can beat this boss faster. That can be a tournament. So because that does require skill. It's like who can actually beat this boss faster, right? So yeah, so there you go. Um, so I mean, I guess in terms of last words, we are here at Ignite. We're extremely excited about our alpha test starting, and we're also very much looking forward to having our all of our friends over at YGG participating in this alpha. Of course, we always super appreciate YGG's continued support, of Ignite tournaments, and our just everything. So like thank you so much for having us, and for continuing to support us as well.
Yeah, you guys know the drill. It is discord.gg/ignite tournament. So everyone who's just hopped in, who's found out about Ignite tournaments today, you know what to do. Go for it. Visit their Discord and make sure to get claim your roles. And also, of course, like if you have any questions, we are here. We have the community, to answer those even outside of this AMA, and of course also the Ignite tournaments community as well. So everyone who joined in tonight. Once again, thank you very much. My name is John Sedano, Community Marketing Manager for Yield Guild Games, and our very special host for tonight, the one and only Crystal Yang from Ignite Tournament. So until next time, see you guys in the metaverse. Peace.